Okay, so we are live. Welcome everybody to the Node.js release working group meeting. Um, Before start, does anybody have any announcement? Okay, so as usual, we go to the regular agenda and let me get it. Put your name in the minutes if you don't. Yes, okay. And the first item in your agenda is the plans for NPM 10. I don't have an information about that. I think we have discussed it in the last meeting, right? And no update so far. I have added it to the agenda, but I need to read all the thread again. Yeah, okay. I will move to the issue 880 session at the Collaborative Summit. I think we have discussed it already. And I have mentioned that I won't be able to, I don't think I will be able to go to the Collaborator Summit because it's in the same day as the OpenSSF. Oh, I said in the thread that I will be there.
I don't think any of the release team is actually going to be there, as far as I know. I don't think Roy was going to make it. I'm not aware that any of us are are going either. So I think we did talk about it in one of the earlier meetings, and it was kind of if no one's actually going to be there, then there isn't really much that we can run. Because I think also, even if you're able to go remotely, I think Roy said the remote is only one way, so it's only like from the conference out, not you can't speak if you're viewing remotely, so you can't even run the session remote. So yeah, I kind of feel that one's probably too late now and not going to happen.
Okay, that makes sense. I remember that looking to the thread that we have discussed it, and we won't send a session. So I have removed the label, and I think I can close this issue.
Sounds good.
Okay. The next one is the release plans for all the active release lines. So going to the Node.js 20, we have the 20.6 proposal, and this is stuck because we have some machine failures plus a flaky test on Windows. So I sent a message on the release channel in the OpenJS, telling all the issues. So I don't know, Juan sent a message to me saying that he can help Ulysses to sign and promote this release because I can't. But we need to get the green CI today, which I think it's possible, but that will be difficult, I guess.
Will be a little bit challenging. Yeah, I will talk with Juan because I assume that we need to change the changelog, right? I need to replace your name for the Juan one then. So I will need to amend the comment. So I will trigger everything from 0. So crossing fingers, maybe that will go in a green light.
Yeah, right? Maybe removing my name is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, because we have to change it on the changelog and in the
sure.
history,
I mean,
so, yeah.
You need to update the date as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there is any idea of the well, I will talk with Juan offline for that. So yeah, okay.
So yeah, if you can't do it today or the machine is not ready, I suggest to target next Monday because Friday is quite complicated.
Yep.
All right. So I have updated the schedule. So I will leave my name there until you release with Juan, and then you feel free to play there. So I updated all the list again. So the next release will be, I think will be September 1st, right? Because I think we have a bunch of things on the queue, even for 20 release.
Yeah, but I think September 1st is going to be like a Friday, so we aim for Monday or Wednesday the
Yes,
next week.
possibly.
Okay.
Which number
Okay.
is it?
Let me check a calendar. I think it is the Wednesday is going to be the 6th of
6.
yeah.
Okay, so we need to postpone the 12 as well. So I think I will just update and remove the 12, so we keep the 2 release per month, which is the regular workflow, I guess. So I will play it, but if someone wants to take lead on a release after or before that, feel free to jump in. All right. So I can't add my name to 20.7. I think I will only be able to do it on October, maybe. So if someone wants to volunteer to 20 release, update the list. All right, so let's go to the Node.js 18. Let me see. I think Hui was doing the release there, but he's also stuck. Let me take a look.
He did post in Slack that he was thinking of delaying to next week.
Okay.
I think there is a proposal open.
Yeah, actually, there's one thing that he was talking to me. It's because when we release a security release, we land things on main as well, and we usually land the same thing that on 20 to the main, but we don't add the labels, don't land on 20, 16, or 18, and so the cherry pick, so the command that we use to cherry pick, you'll get those pull requests. So we need to remember that whenever we create a security release, we add the label don't land on 16, 18, or either 20. So those conflicts will never happen, I guess. Okay, so let me take a look on the schedule for 18. We have Hui doing it for this month, I guess. And next month, we will need another volunteer. Well, I can just volunteer for the October already, but we still need someone to 18.12. Well, that's it. Actually, we need more releasers, I guess.
I
don't know what my availability. I don't know what my availability is going to be yet. I am. Yeah, I need to. I'll know in a couple of weeks, hopefully. But yeah, it's a bit challenging at the moment to find time to do anything. I talk about it a bit further when we get to the 16 plan.
Okay, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we should target, also it's good to talk to you, Ulis, is that there's one initiative that we are trying to move forward, that is the automation of all the release. So I've been working on this. So for instance, Git Node works to create a proposal nowadays, but there are still some edge cases that we need to handle. And we also need to find a way to promote and sign a release automatically without the need of my machine or your machine, we need to discuss actually. But the idea is to have an automation for all of it, so we don't need to have to get people time to do it.
Yep.
This is also this is pretty similar to the initiative we have on the security side, that is the automation of security release proposal. So we should get some help pretty soon.
Yeah, I will love to get involved. Yeah, because definitely, well, it's not in this agenda, but maybe we should include it. There is the need also to change the notarization for macOS. I think we have a hard deadline somewhere in November. So yeah, I need to check around that if the bash script that I did and didn't try it at all and is there in a pull request, it's going to work. So yeah, I potentially will have some time in September to check around. In October, I'm going to be like a little bit more on holidays, so potentially going to be like more or less 1 week available in the full month. But in September, I kind of okay. So yeah, I'm happy to engage with the automation. So everything is new for me. I think it's going to be easier to get involved in the automation. Also learning the process. So
on another one I've just remembered, Stuart Addison, he is on the list of potential releases a long time ago, and he did talk to me this week and say that he's looking to maybe do what you're doing, Ulysses, and parallel release as part of becoming a releaser. But he is going to be away for half of September, so it probably won't be, probably won't be the releases we're talking about right now. But that might be something to, maybe an October release or something. I'll have further discussions with him and see when he's actually going to be available. But that might be, something we can slot into what either a 20 or an 18 release later in the year.
Okay, that's great. Amazing.
Yeah, we'd already approved him with a TSC and everything. I'm trying to remember who it was with. It was either with you, Raphael, or maybe with Juan. At the same time, we sort of went to the TSC and said we were going to add these new releases, and he was on the list, and just hadn't got around to doing it. So
all right. So I think he can make it now.
Yeah.
So now let's go to the issue 658, 16 maintenance. I think Richard said one thing.
So I've posted a comment right at the bottom of that issue, which is listing the current it's listing the state of the pull requests and things labeled LTS Watch 16. So it's basically all the stuff remaining that's in the core repo that's tagged Node.js 16. We've got 3 open. Actually, I think it's 2 open pull requests now, because I think the one that was in draft status has been closed, because I put a message saying it's very unlikely to land, and the person who opened it was okay with that. So there's 2 open PRs. One is the instructions you added, Raphael, which I don't object to, about adding that -f flag to the git commit. It's just I didn't think it was necessary if you actually follow the instructions. So yeah, I don't mind landing it, but also I also don't think it's necessary. So it's kind of, I don't mind either way.
No, this thing you don't need even to be released, right?
Sorry?
This thing don't even need to be released, because it's just for the staging branch. We don't need it on .x. So yeah.
Exactly. There's a core pack update PR. Core pack is experimental, so the last version of core pack in Node 16 is 0.17, and the PR has now been updated to 0.19. So there's been a couple of releases since, but it's all self-contained in that it's a complete npm thing, like we bundle it like we bundle npm. So again, it's probably low risk. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't think we do much testing with core pack anyway. There is some, but not much. So as long as the CI passes, I guess it's landable. But also, it's kind of the thing that we wouldn't do a release for it. So the LTS Watch ones, there are a couple. One is labeled baking for LTS, and I really don't know if I can make that decision as to whether it's baked for long enough or whether it's still considered risky. And then there's a few that I would class as trivial, but not necessary, to go out in a release. There is one that someone asked for consideration, the one about validating arguments, which I'll process. Someone said this could prevent security issues without sort of being specific as to what. I guess it's because it's the validation of user supply parameters or Well, I don't even know if it's user supplied. It's the application supplying parameters, but yeah, I mean, I don't. Again, my main thing here is the only things that I really saw in the list that I would consider notable for a 16 release was updating the root certificates. So that's for like the TLS connections from Node. The last time we updated the root certificates was around the turn of the year, sort of just at the end of last year. So there've been 2 updates since. So those 2 commits, cherry pick cleanly, I've actually landed them on the staging branch. They removed 3 root certificates and add 2 new ones. Well, I say new ones, they've had two and removed 3. So it's just a sort of general tidy up thing. So again, I guess it might give a little bit more sort of longevity if people are stuck on 16, but again, it's possibly not necessary, absolutely necessary. One of the things I suggested is maybe we can just land things on the staging branch and not do a release. So if people do want to, build their own 16, they can, and the things will be there. Otherwise, my window of opportunity for doing a release is next week, and that's it. So the week after that, I'm going to be busy. I'm actually going to be sort of traveling into London. I don't live very far from London, but I'm going to be traveling into there for sort of company meetings. So I'm not going to be able to do anything that week in terms of releases. And then the week after that, 16 is end of life. So basically, I think for 16, we either don't release, which I think is my preferred option. I do a quick release for next week and hope we don't have to respin. We just let things on the staging and say, right, we're not going to do a release, but if you want to build it yourself, we've updated the source. There are a few things that were on staging to do with like test fixes and making the CI pass. So again, a few things that are already on staging, but I don't think they're necessary in terms of they would affect like end users, other than the root certificate updates that I landed today.
Okay, there is just one thing that I didn't consider.
Yep.
Those pull requests with LTS watch.
Yes.
We normally add them when we want to that we believe that something needs to be landed in a prior release. But if we don't add that label, that should be automatically cherry-picked, right?
Pending. For active, probably, but for maintenance, probably not.
Okay, yeah, just for maintenance.
So for sort of LT, and I guess it's kind of it's more a kind of the things that are labeled are things that people think really ought to be considered, whereas the other things might automatically be considered, but then you might make the decision that it's not that important if that doesn't land. Whereas I guess the watch ones are more kind of, we think this is a demonstrable issue or this has fixed something. Not always. I mean, it's up to collaborators to add labels. But I guess it does mean that, like, for example, for me today, going through those pull requests, I could just look at the things with the labels instead of, I'm not running, not going to run branch diff for Node 16 because there'd be a huge difference in branch diff for 16.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I just basically did a last sweep. So it's basically, I guess I put that comment in, and if other people, have a look at that, and if anyone actually sees anything on there and says, no, actually, we really want a Node 16 release with that in, anyone here or listening to the call, please chime up, because the opportunity to do another 16 release is very small. And I guess the preference of our team, given availability, is, we wouldn't do one unless we really needed to. And
that's correct.
Doesn't sound to me like we do. So I'm inclined to, just let 16 go end of life in a couple of weeks' time. Not very long now. So hopefully there will be nothing else new coming up that would force our hand to do a release.
Yeah, and also considering the last security release, I think that should be fine to not release a final release of 16. Well, okay, so if you are watching this record or live and want something to land, please chime in the issue and tell us the reason for that.
And it's got to be something that's either really serious in terms of
Yeah.
breakage, or like something low risk in terms of the code complexity. It's anything that's like, please add this new feature, is definitely no.
Exactly. Okay, so just to finalize our agenda, we have an issue on the system to clean up modules that are failing often. I've created this issue, but I don't have any updates so far. I didn't have time to take a look on this, but my initial thought was, okay, let's remove all the modules that are failing constantly and open an issue, ping all the authors. If they reply to it, we add them back. Otherwise, I believe that our system will be always a problem, because we normally compare things, for instance, 20.6 proposal against 20.x. And if 20.x fails 100 times and 20.6 fails 101 times, we are good to go. But that's weird. So
System's always been a challenge, trying to get that, to try and keep it in some reasonable state, whatever that reasonable state is. It's never completely passed anywhere, as far as I know. And I think the biggest problem we've got is flakes, where things are failing in modules, but either not consistently, or it fails but on different platforms. Sometimes it fails on this platform, and sometimes it fails on a different platform. And the other problem is they're all those modules are running different test runners. So if you even try and delve into why is this module failed, it's not always easy to spot the failure, because they use like different test runners that spit out the results in different formats, and it's kind of I think in some cases I've seen Sitgem truncate the standard output or something, which is really weird. But I guess people have time to.
Well, I think we should have like a kind of policy to add a module to the system, like the module.
We do. The problem is it bit rots, because once you add it, who's looking after? There is a list somewhere in Sitgem which says if you are adding a module, it has a whole list of criteria that a module should satisfy in order to be added. I think the test passing was one of them. It's kind of implicit, but if you look in the Sitgem repo, there is a file somewhere that can be referenced for people wanting to add new modules. I guess the only question is, if we start disabling, well, I guess if the module's always failing, it's one thing. I suppose the other thing is, if we do blanket disable a whole bunch of modules, I guess more if they're flaky rather than always failing, what is that actually doing in terms of coverage? I mean, would that mean that some parts of Node don't have any exposure in Sitgem to, in terms of ecosystem testing? It's tricky, because sometimes Sitgem has found things, and then a lot of the other time we're just trying to crawl through and decipher whether it has found anything or not. But I think usually when it finds something, it's fairly across the board, where like you suddenly see a new module that's failing in the comparison on multiple platforms rather than a single one. But it's one of those things that's going to be really hard to automate unless we ever get to a state where it's passing, and then it can find the regressions, which are this has now failed when it wasn't failing before. We're doing the current comparisons. It's going to be really hard to automate, because of the way you almost have to sort of intuitively look at it and sort of make a judgment call as to that's a known failure, I've seen that fail before. Or
we might need a CI reliability, but for Sitgem, the bot we have.
Yeah, maybe. Tricky.
Okay. So not too much to share. And that's the end of our agenda. So thank you guys for joining. I will upload the minutes soon, and see you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I guess.
Thank you.
Bye bye.